Why play Morgana jungle? Well, she brings a ridiculous amount of lockdown. She is one of the best pick champions in the game. She is a beast in a teamfight, and her ganks are surprisingly good. However, she is reliant on hitting her Qs, especially when ganking, and she is squishy, relying heavily on Zhonya's to keep herself safe. Morgana's passive is when she deals damage with her abilities against champions, large minions, and large monsters, she is healed. Morgana's Q is a straight line skill shot which deals damage and roots the target hit. The root duration at level 1 is 2 seconds and goes all the way up to a massive 3 seconds. Morgana's W has a passive where if her passive is triggered, the cooldown of this ability is reduced. The active places a circle on the floor for 5 seconds and enemies within take damage over time. In addition, this ability does more damage the lower health the target is. Morgana's E is a shield which she can put on herself or an allied champion. The shield only blocks magic damage, but as long as the shield is active, they are immune to all CC effects. Morgana's ultimate can only be used if near an enemy champion. When used, she forms a tether to all nearby enemy champions, dealing damage to them. This tether lasts for 3 seconds, during which time she gets bonus movement speed and the targets are revealed and slowed. If the tether is not broken by the end of the duration, they're then dealt damage again and stunned. For combos, if you land Q, follow up with W before using E on yourself and walking up and ulting. Stay close enough to your target to keep the tether intact, auto-attacking where you can until they're stunned. And your team fighting combos use E on yourself and walk up to them or flash into ult range. After ulting, use Zhonya's if needed or keep auto-attacking, and then when the stun lands, use your W into a Q. For matchups, Morgana is amazing at champions who want to engage and rely on CC, as she easily negates their engage and locks them down. However, she can struggle against duelists who can easily invade her and win the 1v1s. For runes, take this. Dark Harvest works incredibly well. For build order, start Red Monster and Pot into Liandry's and Tier 2 boots. After this, Zhonya's and Crystal Scepter are great pickups before finishing your build with any of these as needed. For skill order, start W then Q then E before maxing W then Q then E, taking ult whenever you can. For summoner spells, take Flash and Smite. Starting the game, you have a few different options. The safest option is always to do a full jungle clear. Not only is this the most effective and consistent way to maximize your gold and experience gain, but it also puts you into the strongest position you can be to fight for Scuttle Crab if needed. Otherwise, you can do a quick level 3 clear by doing both buffs and one other camp into an early gank. When ganking, always consider the 3 main points of what CC does your team bring, what escapes does the enemy have, and where is the lane pushed to. When ganking, how good your gank is really going to depend on landing your Q. So a good way to land it is to get closer to your opponent and try to cut off any angles they can escape from. And if you do land it on your opponent after using your W, you want to walk past them. While they can't move, this is just the best way of getting more damage out by making them walk past you afterwards. And of course, when you hit level 6, you now have an insane amount of CC and damage. So your ganks can easily just be black shielding yourself, walking up to them and ultimating into your Q. Entering the mid game, as the jungler, your main focus is going to be getting objectives. To do this, keep up aggressive wards, look for a pick, use your Q to lock them down and blow them up. Entering late game teamfights, you want to play as your teams engage. Black shield yourself, walk up to the enemy team and use your ultimate into Zhonya's on as many opponents as possible. It is so much damage and so much CC, it can just straight win fights immediately. Otherwise, you can play the backline mage, spamming out Qs and Ws and using ultimate to peel for yourself.